Thank you, Facebook, for tuning in to Relationship Lounge, Revealing Gift. I have the one and only Dr. LaDonna Butler in the building. She has an amazing story that she's going to share with you this morning. She's going to give you something that's going to help you this week. You know, our topic today is I can't give up now. And I know that she's going to come with something that's going to encourage you this morning. I'm Coach Deb. You know, you can't heal unless you reveal. So I want you to go ahead and tag your friends, tag your neighbors, tag someone that you know need an encouraging word, because you know we're in trying times, but we are still pressing and moving forward because we serve a God that is faithful. Good morning to you, Dr. Butler. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. I am whole and healed through Christ. And so I absolutely love this idea of revealing and healing. It is through our stories, it's through the sharing and our own vulnerability that we're able to, number one, we heal, but we also provide a pathway for other people to not feel so isolated, for other people to know that not only are they not alone, but also a blueprint and a strategy that they can use as they're walking this path of shared life. And so I'm honored to be invited to share space with you. I'm honored that I am surrounded by a family who absolutely loves me. In the background, quietly and strongly supporting me is my own husband, Minister Ulysses Butler, and the people who helped me even sit straight up in the chair for our session for today. My 5 beautiful children, Amari, Kira, Mason, Oren, and Quincy, who I'm honored to be their mother, actually helped me get up and ready today. There are so many stories that I could just share. And if we were all to be honest and share pieces of ourselves, we all have a witness of adversity. And we also have a witness of the way that God and community has helped pull us through. As Coach Deb has provided space and opportunity for me to share, she just opened the door wide open. And I could share from having a grandmother who stepped in to take care of me while my mother and my father took care of their own health and their own health and their own life outcomes so that they could be strong people today that could love me as the adult woman that I am. I could share from being a survivor of childhood sexual assault or of domestic violence. But the most recent occurrence is as of last week. So I'm going to share my most recent battle. And it is raw, it is real, and it is current because I am still walking in that space of healing today. Many times we go way back. We like to share the stories that are most clean, most put together, most and far enough away that we don't have to feel the emotionality that's often connected to it. But in this space, I feel called to share something more recent and called to share something that I am actively navigating right now. That's my own struggle with health. Health is of God. He wants us to live well. He wants us to be abundantly living. He wants our bodies to be a living sacrifice. And so in my own quest to take care of other people, I spent years of self-neglect. I spent years of not resting. I spent years of thinking of my own strategies to eat well. I spent years of using food as a way to navigate all of the pain of the world. Now, what's interesting is I have been called and saved for a really long time. And I know many people have that testimony that no matter what your religious testament is, for many of us, we have all had this strategy that helps us to navigate through life. And I am no exception. I'm not any different than many of us on this call. From a very young age, I was raised in the church. I have a strong family. I've had nutritionists and dietitians. I mean, I've had exposure to um, exposure to the best care, and yet found myself in a situation where I was neglecting who God loves the most, which is me.
Amen.
And so, in all that time of not taking care of myself, I resulted in me weighing about 286 pounds. And after numerous health complications and consultation with my family, my village, we decided that this is not how God wants me to live. And so we went on my own health journey, and I lost about 95 pounds. So um, you are in the midst of losing almost a whole person right now, right? And in that, after losing 95 pounds, we decided that there were some things that I put on myself that did not belong to me. And the question that I will offer to all of the listeners today, what are some things that you've added to yourself that don't belong to you?
Right.
What are some pieces of weight that you've added that don't belong to you? And so as I began to lose the weight, not only using medical interventions, but some spiritual interventions, some social interventions, some physical interventions, and losing the weight, we decided that it was time to cut off the things that don't belong. So I had surgery where my body went through a physical transformation. And during that period of time, I was healing well. I mean, healing well, surrounded by people who loved me, doing what doctors said I should be doing. Yet, after 2 weeks after my surgery, I developed a symptom, an infection called sepsis. And for someone who doesn't know what sepsis is, it is a deadly infection. It kills about 60% of the people who get it. There's not a real known cause of how someone gets it and how other people don't get it. But for a week, I was in a hospital bed and still trying to work. still, right? I was in a hospital bed. It's still not getting quiet. Still, yeah, still trying to hide behind what other people needed me to be. And so as we reveal and heal, the truth of the situation is this duality of being in process of healing and also hiding. And both can't sit in the same space. You can't heal and hide at the same time, because eventually those things will catch up with you. I found that allowing space and allowing God will get you to a place where you have no choice but to allow others to help to take care of you. So making room in my own life for others to step in and do for me what I have done for so many people is one of the most humbling experiences that I've had.
That's a word.
Yeah. Second, allowing myself to simply stop, simply watch some TV, simply turn off the messages, simply be in a place of healing and recovering without feeling the need to over respond is the other lesson. So number one, allowing people to step in and help you and take care of you. Number two, being a place where you can heal and can get where you can heal and where you can recover. And then the third is really still keeping this attitude of yes. And when I say yes, it is a centered yes, not yes to everything, yes to everyone, because those are the things that get us to the place where we are often sick and separated. But a centered yes, and listening to the whispers of God, and the preparation that he's already given, so that when opportunities come, even in your recovery room, you'll know when to say yes, because it will be as healing and as fueling as it is you pouring out to other people. So in this lesson of healing and revealing, for me, it is about the rawness that I'm not on the other side. In fact, I still have a wound vac on and an IV pump on, and I'm still trusting God. I'm still actively being taken care of by people who have earned the right to be in the sacred space of my home
Come
and
on now.
life, right? I'm still in that space. And yet, the Heal and Reveal says that we, in the midst of healing, it's important that we're considering how we allow the people that God has divinely connected us to minister to us while we're resting and recovering, and while we're saying yes to the things and that He would have us to do. And so that's my story for right now. That's my right now in process of healing story, that I hope
Mm.
that we all can sit in, because the truth is we're all healing from something.
And yes, now, but see, Dr. Butler, I can tell you wearing the banner of I can't give up now. You're wearing the
Mm.
banner of it takes a village. You got 5 beautiful children that are supporting you, and a beautiful husband that is supporting you, and you are just a witness in this movement. I can't give up now, because you are a professional. Tell everybody what it is that you do.
I can't give up now. I am a licensed mental health counselor. My background is counselor education and supervision. So the bulk of my work is working with other clinicians um, to do the work, right? So you have to do the work in order to do the work. So providing a healing space for those healers so that they can go out and be whole enough, well enough to hear the narratives of others and walk them through the journey. On top of being a licensed mental health counselor, I'm the senior manager for the Alliance for Safety and Justice, where we advocate for policies and budgets that keep us all safe. Understanding that individuals who have been impacted by crime deserve a seat at the center of the conversation when it comes down to shared safety in our community. And last but not least, I work for the University of South Florida. I am the principal investigator for reckoning with race and infant and early childhood mental health, as we tackle the issues that keep Black and Brown families ill, especially in regards to young families. And so I'm the principal investigator and adjunct professor at the University of South Florida. So with all those titles, one would think I'm so tired, I can't possibly keep going on. But God has given me and given us a spirit of perseverance, especially
Yes.
when times get hard.
Yes, ma'am. You are a selfless human being. And I'm telling you, honey, you have sown great seeds. You are a living witness of practicing what you preach. And God has just given you the grace to
Mm.
do what He's called you to do. It's not within your power that you're doing all these things,
Oh no.
because you have shared with us today. You have shared with us today the goodness of God in your life. And I see God. I don't see Dr. Butler. I see God in the midst of all the things that you are doing, and people are listening. So it's so very important that we have a relationship with Him. It is so important that we have Him as the head of our lives, because He is a faithful God. Please share with the people what it is that you somehow believed that you had what it takes to be on the healing side.
Mm-hmm.
Was it God speaking to you that you woke up one morning and decided, you know what? I know that there's greatness in me. And I believe that the Lord has called me to heal others. Because that's exactly what you're doing.
That's so good. I think it's a combination of both. So I teach a class of women's mental health, and we talk about nature versus nurture.
Okay.
So in my nature, I am a spirit, right? And I live in a body and I have a soul, and that soul belongs and has been turned over to Christ, my Savior, right? So
Right.
that is my nature. So when you ask me who I am, that's who it is. So in my nature, I understand that there is something bigger than me fueling me. So just the witness of the earth is the thing that keeps me moving, right? And then nurture is watching family and friends, um, and watching the testimony and the witness of how God continues to heal, is the thing that allows me to keep pushing, especially when I want to stop. See, for me, it's the ongoing seeds of perseverance. It's the
Yeah.
ongoing seeds of testimonies of God's faithfulness to me, that allowed me to live through this, right? Um,
Mm.
that when the surgeon said, "We almost lost you
Mm-hmm.
twice,"
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "It was your." Um, I'm gonna pull the word from my husband. He said it was your strength, it was your health conditions before the surgery, before we went into that procedure that allowed you to live. And it was when you were turned off that we realized how very sick you were. It was right. So it was God, the God in me,
Yeah.
that was allowing me to keep pushing through, because on my own, I wouldn't have been able to make it. That's the physical side. The spiritual side is the same way. If I were just to write out the things that I have gone through in my life past, the things that I'm currently going through in my life, and the things that the enemy has set up already, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would not be able to keep moving, but it's because of the witness of Christ, all the things that he went through and survived, and the things that he continued to sacrifice. And then the witness that he's given me, that all the things that I have gone through and I've survived, and yet I'm still here when everything in me should have me laid up somewhere. I'm still here. So the short answer is this: it is both the nature of man and the nurture of man that has our capacity to remain in a space of healing. I come from a long line of healers, right? I come from a long line of people who have understood the worth of prayer. I come from a long line of community who understands how God works in and through people. So when I'm at my sickest point, my weakest point, which we all get to, that I'm able to lean in, and most important, to lay back and
Mm-hmm.
rest on the
Mm-hmm.
surety of God and the comfort of the village.
Mm-mm-mm. You see, God has done so much for you, honey. Your purpose to live. Your
Mm,
purpose to live. His grace is truly sufficient, because your purpose to live, that's your assignment, to live and not die, but to
yeah.
declare his works. And so that's why when these big things come your way, supernatural takes over, because you got to live.
I
You
got
know
to
what
live.
I'm saying? You got to declare his works. There's
Mm,
too many dependent on it. You're one
yeah.
of the chosen ones, and you come from a whole lot of them. So you've got many more rivers to climb. You got much to do.
Mm,
I'm so thankful for your testimony today, because you're going to speak to a lot of other healers. You're going to speak to a lot of people that have just thrown in the towel and said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And your testimony is saying to them, well, good. Now let God take over.
that's it.
Because when we're too busy being busy, the
Mm-hmm.
glory don't always go to God. People are always saying, well, you did this and you did that. And I tell you, you are something. And the glory should always go to God. And you have made it very, very clear that it goes to the God that is faithful in your life. So
Mm-hmm.
tell me, in order for you to continue to do the work of the Lord, because that's what you're doing, dear, You're doing the work of the Lord. The Lord is giving you an amazing team.
Yes. Oh
He
my
is
God.
giving you an amazing support system. Because a lot of times I can give you examples of so many I have had the pleasure of talking to where they were married to men and women that did not agree with that place that God had called them to. So they said it was due to marrying out of the will of God. And then they've had, children where the children was not on the same page. And that's because it wasn't brought up to believe. You understand? So you're so fortunate. You're so blessed that things are moving and they're just rocking together, just moving and grooving. So what encouragement can you give to someone that is, trying to find purpose? You know what I'm saying? And they're feeling like, well, I can't do this alone. You got a team, but I'm so assured right now that you didn't start out with the team.
I did not. And in fact, I was gonna say that it is important to understand we are wired for connection. We are wired for relationship. And the encouragement is this: I didn't always have the team. And the truth is, there are times when this team is not always aligned. So no matter where you are, whether it is in this place of quietness where God has you to himself while he's purposefully designing a group of people that you're supposed to be doing life with during this time, or whether you are in right relationship with other people, yet because of past harms, you are not open to allowing them into the space. Or if you're like me, you have a supportive team, yet you struggle with the balance of how do I allow people in, yet still give to other people. No
That's
matter
good.
where you are on that spectrum, God has use for you. And so know this. I'll try to keep this simple. No matter where you are, whether you are in the building phase, right, where you're in this quiet space, where you're just trying to figure out and reconcile what God has you purpose for today, or whether you have a clear purpose and he has done some great revelation in you and clearly outlined what your divine work is, and how that's operated right now, on this earth that we're all living in, and how it directly impacts people. No matter where you are in that spectrum, God has planned for you. I will share this last thing. When I was in a season of separation from relationship, I found it to be the hardest. I found it to be the most difficult place because I was trying to operate great purpose in a vacuum, and that has never been God's way. He's always called people to himself, but in every single testimony you will see, after he calls people to himself, he always places them in community. Every time. I mean, go through. You will notice every time he's called someone to himself, he's always placed them back in community, whether just one other person, or great numbers of people. So if you are walking in a calling and you're by yourself, you need to go back and ask
Come
God,
on.
who are the people that I'm supposed to be connected to? If you're walking in purpose and still are operating out of pain and trauma, so much so that you keep finding yourself disconnected, then again, that's another place to go back and talk to God and talk to people who have earned the right to hear your story so that you can do the work of God. And so that's the only nugget that I have, that we are only as sick as our degrees of separation. So if you are separated, that's one key indication that you are sick, and that we need to go back to God and ask him, who am I supposed to be divinely connected to for this great work that you have on my life? Understanding that I can't give up now. And the only way that I'm really going to be able to do the long journey is in community with your people. So God, who am I supposed to be with? What divine connections am I supposed to have right now? how do I heal from past hurts and harm so that I don't take that same spirit into the next right relationships that I'm supposed to be in? And then what do I do right now to honor and value and celebrate the people that you have me divinely connected to in this moment?
Oh, wow, Dr. Butler, this has been so meaty. Oh, my gosh. And so necessary. And I'm not going to dwell because
Mm-mm.
sometimes it's like a brownie that's so rich, you have to just bite pieces off of it,
Yeah,
and put it away because
yeah,
it's so rich. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This has truly been the greatest honor. I do believe that you have blessed so many listeners today. People a lot of times don't always comment, they don't always like, but they're viewing, honey.
Mm-hmm.
They are listening and they getting it and they going on with it. We don't mind, do we, girl? We don't mind. Go ahead, get it and live on it. Thank you so much for
Thank
Grace
you.
and Reveal and Heal Relationship Lounge with your amazing presence, honey. You're just glowing. Oh,
Thank
yes, you
you.
are.
Thank you. And as we said in our beginning conversation, this glow is not of me because earlier today my body is catching up with the truth of my true healing, right? So physically, my body is catching up, and that's for all of us. It has been an honor to sit with you, share space with you, to be in the presence of God's divine work of your hand.
Thank you.
So it is an honor to be able to be with you. It's an honor to have access to those who have been divinely appointed to you. And like you said, whether this message is just for you and I to just reminisce and for us to feast on and for me to be reflective about how God shows up for me so that I can use that in my own ongoing healing journey, or whether this reaches the mass where we're at 1 million plus people who are watching, the message and the meat is still the same.
It's still the same.
Still good. And so I say thank you so much for the space, and I pray for your well-being, so that you can continue to do the work of God.
And I thank you so much. I want to speak to the listeners this morning. I want you to just know, for those of you that feel that you want to give up, you just don't want to endure it. A lot of these things that are going on, you never thought that you would experience. A lot of you haven't known what lack is. A lot of you have always had, and now you're experiencing, lack, and you don't know what to do with yourself. Well, let me just say, God has no respect of person. He loves us all the same. The just, when it comes to it rains on the just and the unjust.
Absolutely.
We're all the same. He died for us all. So please be mindful for those of you that stand in a place of wanting to give up. You've come too far to give up now. No one said that it would be easy, but you've come too far to give up now. Thank you so much, Dr. Butler, for tuning in. Facebook Live, y'all have been faithful. Thank you so much again. Remember, you can't heal what you don't reveal. I'm Coach Deb. Have an amazing day. God bless you, Dr. Butler.
Thank you.